Justin, how do you define purpose?
It's not a destination. I think it's ever evolving. I think we're always looking for it. It changes over time. If I knew I only had 11 days to live. We're only human. You should kind of give yourself that permission to feel and think what you think.
I was not present. I think I was trying to be a version of me that I was not. My purpose now is simply be present.
Enjoy the moment.
And no one's going to talk about how much money you've made, but like how you have touched people's lives. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Chit Chat with Aunty Mary. Today we have Justin, my former boss, friend,
Yes.
who has agreed to come to our show.
Yeah, totally.
Welcome to the show, Justin.
Thanks for having me. And by the way, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a huge fan. So congratulations on this podcast. I'm really a big fan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin. So, Justin has an extensive career in corporate. I think he has been working for what, 20-something years?
Yeah, MA always says that we are in a different generation.
Yes.
Before starting this live broadcast, so she reminds me how old I am.
I do.
Thank you.
Well, I invited Justin to the show today because I thought he would, add an interesting perspective on the topic of purpose. I've always been very curious on purpose, and ever since I got laid off, the question of finding your purpose has always has been something that I've been looking for.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a chit chat with Justin today to discuss about his purpose in his 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah.
And how it has changed over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Justin, how do you define purpose?
I think, firstly, thanks for having me on the show. I think about purpose, firstly, what it's not. I think what it's not is a destination. It's not a destination. I think it's ever evolving. I think we're always looking for it. And I think it changes over time. And I think about purpose in terms of asking periodically, like, what's my why? Why am I pursuing a certain path in life? Why am I pursuing a certain profession? Why am I over investing in my health? Why am I doing these things? And I think if I ask myself enough whys, I can start to, figure out what it is purpose is to me.
Okay.
Right. So, that's probably how I think about it.
Okay, so if it's defined as what you're saying is you're defining it as not a destination.
No.
But it's a little bit more of the why I'm doing this.
Yeah, at different points in my life. Yeah.
At different points of your life.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, I could relate to that.
Yeah.
I feel like my purpose has definitely evolved since 6 months ago until now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
very rapidly. It's definitely evolved from my 20s to 30s, and after my layoff, it has also evolved. And I would say my purpose now is actually just to be present.
That's brilliant.
And it's actually the hardest thing to do.
How did that change 6 months ago?
So I got laid off.
Yeah.
And I think the question of what I really want to do in life has been something that I've been thinking about during this journey. And I honestly am still, I don't have the answer yet. So because of that, my purpose right now is to be present while I'm trying to figure out what that is. Because I don't want to get distracted by the noise, the external noises, and to all revert back to my old ways. So until I figure out what I want to do, my purpose now is simply be present.
Enjoy the moment.
And enjoy the moment.
So does that mean to say 6 months ago you weren't present?
I would say I was not present.
Yeah, wow.
I would say I was not present. I think I was trying to be a version of me that I was not.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to just not think about anything and just be still and just be here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else but the present, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the past is the past. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, for example, one of the things that, I think one of the books, Sheryl Sandberg, everyone knows Sheryl Sandberg, something that really kind of has resonated and stuck with me for many, many years is, so her husband passed away, right? And 11 days before the first anniversary of her husband's passing, I think she was at a party or a gathering or something, and she all of a sudden paused and just broke down.
Okay.
And she told her friends that, oh my gosh, this time last year, I only had 11 days left with my husband.
Oh.
And that just kind of struck home with me. So anytime I kind of have this major decision or major life point or major trigger point and things like that into the whole notion of presence, I think about that. I think about what would I do or what would I say if I knew I only had 11 days to live?
There's a very interesting perspective to think about purpose through death.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could relate to that as well, because last year, I don't know if I shared this with you, but 2 of my friends passed away.
Oh, what? Wow, no. I had no idea. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So 2 of my friends passed away in December. It was exactly the time I also got laid off. So
Wow.
I went through a roller coaster of emotions, obviously. But I remember being in my friend's wake and asking myself, what is my purpose? But also looking at her for the person that she was reminded me the kind of life that I would like to live and also how I would like to be remembered. And that allowed me to think about my purpose through death. That when I die, no one's going to think about how successful you are, how much money you have, but maybe how you make he or she feels.
Yeah, totally.
And through that lens, now I'm trying to stay present, but I think it reshaped my perspective.
Yeah,
but it's very interesting how you shared that story on Sheryl Sandberg, that life is short and like if you've only 11 days to live, how would that change your view?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we've gotten really morbid very, very quickly. It's I mean, it's sad that that a serious life point such as someone's death or serious illness and things like that make you reassess. Quite frankly, we should be reassessing way ahead of that, right?
Yeah.
And every single day, right, asking ourselves, like, why are we doing this? What purpose are we serving by pursuing a certain path, a career, working out, whatever it might be? So,
yeah. So that path, why I'm on this journey, trying to figure out why we're doing certain things, why we're motivated, why different people are motivated the way they are, and hopefully to shed some perspective and to also, in this process, through us sharing, help people in some shape or form.
Sounds good. Well, you're helping me. As soon as the episodes come out, I come straight onto listening.
Thank you.
No, it's fantastic.
So then maybe we'll talk a little bit more about your 20s then.
Yeah.
In that chapter.
Yeah.
How has your purpose changed since then, and what was your purpose when you were in your 20s?
Yeah, totally. I think maybe to understand my 20s and then 30s and 40s, I think you probably need to also understand how I grew up a little bit as well. I think there are a few things upon reflection that probably trigger how I behave and how I think in the future. So those things are, I went to an academically selective school in Australia in high school. And so that was very competitive. Everyone was competing with each other to be the top of the class for every single subject, because back then, I don't know about now, but back then, that was how you entered university and got the high scores into university. You were ranked, right? And I was in a very academically selective school with a lot of brilliant people and brilliant friends and things like that. So that was one. The other thing in my childhood as well is, as Marianne, as you know, I'm a big tennis player, and I played a lot of tennis growing up as well. Unsuccessfully, but competitively. And I think these kinds of things really triggered competitive juices that kind of flowed through my life as well. And so when I entered university and exited university into my career, what you should also know, by the way, I should mention, is that I was very young for my year. I was amongst the youngest in my year, every single year of school.
Oh, very smart.
No, I was just born a certain time of year that made me the youngest in my year. And I also only did a 3-year degree, right? Which meant that I'd finished all of my schooling by the age of 20, well ahead of everyone else, right? Younger than everyone else.
So you graduated university at 20 years old?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my competitive self said that, you know what, I'm going to leverage that to be as successful as possible, career-wise, as young as possible, right? I had a head start, 1, 2, 3 year head start on everyone else, so I'm going to try and get as vertical as possible, as quickly as possible, as young as possible, right? And I wanted to also do that in a quote-unquote high-flying career, one that enabled me to wear a nice suit, see clients wearing a nice suit and tie, that allowed me to travel and fly, and things like that. And I aspired also to, eat at nice restaurants beyond my means rather, and all of things like that. So these were the kind of things that I valued in my 20s. The other thing that I valued, and the reasons why I valued in my 20s, what my whys was, yes, this sense of achievement that others would see as successful, but there was also something else going on personally as well.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I was in a long-term relationship with someone that I was well and truly into. And I also saw that sense of competitiveness to, if I could go as vertical as possible and make as much money as possible and be as successful professionally as possible, I will get my deposit for my first home and buy my first home as early as possible.
How early were you targeting?
25 at the time, and if not earlier.
That's very young.
Right. For our first home together, just to get a head start in life in general. And so that's what my why was, and it's all kind of driven by a combination of those external extrinsic factors of how I would be perceived as successful, but also like just getting ahead of everyone else.
And someone you were in love, you wanted to provide for someone.
Yeah. And I want to get there as quickly as possible, right? Because the quicker you get there, the quicker you quote unquote enjoy life. Yeah.
So what happened?
So what happened is she broke up with me.
Oh no, but then you were saved a lot of money, no?
So she broke up. So actually, I should also add, to make as much money for that deposit for that house, I was also, as much as possible, as frugal as possible as well, right? So I remember having a target of saving 75% of my monthly salary.
75%?
Yeah. So I was living at home, so that helped. Yeah. Bringing lunch from home. Okay. I'd still like to go for drinks on a Friday with workmates and all of that kind of stuff. But the target was to try and save 3/4 of my salary every single month in order
to fulfill that goal.
Yeah, in order to fulfill that goal.
Okay. Did you fulfill it?
No.
And other than the person financially, did you fulfill that financial goal? If you remember, or can remember.
I can't remember actually. I think I could have, but yeah, a lot of things happened, right? So I think about 1 or 2 years into my professional career, we ended our relationship. And I guess that was the first major trigger point, right? Like I was devastated. I actually didn't see it coming at the time. If I post-rationalize, I could definitely see it coming. But at the point in time, I didn't see it coming. I had laid out this future for us in my head, at least, of the things that we were going to accomplish as quickly as possible, the things that I was going to accomplish for us as quickly as possible. And then it all vanished. And it really started, that was the first trigger point that really got me thinking, why am I doing this? What was I doing this for? I didn't fully enjoy my job as well. And so, back then, the John Mayer songs about this whole notion of a quarter-life crisis like really resonated. Like, what was I doing? I was kind of building this career, saving 3/4 of my salary for this deposit. It was very formulaic, right? And very, it was formulaic, and I was trying to get ahead of everyone else and things like that, rather than thinking about what I wanted and what I valued. Yeah.
Looking back, do you feel that goal, was it because of an image? Since we're talking about purpose in the 20s, right? Or was it because of someone, and it was very driven by the purpose to provide?
Yeah,
when you were in love.
Yeah, I mean, I started off thinking and reflecting that it was both of those things, but I definitely think it was more the former than the latter.
Okay.
It was the image, right?
You wanted to be the 25-year-old that bought a house already.
Yeah, look at Justin. He's a homeowner. He's got this awesome career where he's always in a suit and tie and he's traveling around, and all of those kinds of things were validating me, so, or I thought that would validate me rather.
Okay.
So yeah, it was definitely that if I reflect on it.
Okay. Well, for 25 to have that wake-up call is actually very young. So if that's the case, then you're way, way, way ahead now.
Yeah.
I had that like 6 months ago when I was 35.
Yeah.
So 10 years behind.
Yeah.
But how did that change the outlook of your life respectively then?
Yeah, that totally changed, right? And so all of a sudden, the goal of home ownership, for example, as young as possible, totally vanished from me. I almost over pivoted the other direction, right? So what happened for me was I cared a whole lot less about career. I didn't feel like there was any urgency or need or want to buy that first home. And so I sort of transfer to go to Europe and move to London. And I went to London and I effectively spent everything I earned going partying, meeting new people, traveling every weekend, not really caring about the job that I had in London. That was merely to pay the bills, pay the rent, pay for my travels, pay for my drinking and all of that kind of stuff. And so it felt like I went totally the other direction.
You went 180.
Yeah, I totally did.
You moved countries.
I totally did.
You did things that were kind of against your values or like the identity that you've built for the longest time.
Yeah.
A frugal guy to just traveling, partying.
Yep. So the image of what I was seeking totally changed as a result of that trigger point.
And was there a new image that you were pursuing, or were you just trying to find yourself in that mess?
Yeah, I think it was both. I think I started to get this image or projected this image of myself of like not caring, laissez-faire, living for the day, all of those kinds of things. I think that also reflected and manifested actually in my job in London as well. I remember one of my early performance reviews at my job in London, my manager, I love her dearly and I still am in touch with her to this day. I regard her as my work mum and she knows that. So hi, work mum, if you're listening. She said to me in a performance review where I was seeking a promotion so I could get more money, so I could
travel more,
spend more. And she said to me something interesting. It was not, Justin, it's not that you're not mature, but it's about maturity. And I wasn't being mature. I wasn't exhibiting maturity in the office because I wanted to just be like this fun guy that really didn't care about work. And I wanted to get I was the type that rallied people to the pub and all of those kinds of things, right? I would say really silly, ridiculous things in the middle of the workday and all of that kind of stuff, which undermined my credibility in the professional sense. Hence what my work mom said to me.
That maturity.
Yeah.
But at that point of time when you were would you say you were yourself or not yourself? Or it just changed and
I think I was a different version of myself. Yeah. And I think I was still finding myself and figuring out who I was. And I think part of that, I've been reflecting on this as well. I think a large part of all of that, from university all the way through to the first part of my career, starting out in Sydney to moving to London and pivoting the other way, I think it was all stemming from insecurity.
Tell me more about that.
I didn't know who I was from the sense of what people thought of me or what people thought would be a cool version of me, I guess, quote unquote cool. Is the cool version of me someone who's made it successfully? And then if they think that, then I'll be happy. Or is the cool version of me the one that is the life of the party, that is the joker, that wants to just have fun all the time? And if they think that of me, then I'll be happy. And I think I was trying to find through external factors versus like what I actually thought would make me happy myself.
Because in both scenarios, the overachiever and maybe the party guy, those two versions of you were also built on external factors on what you thought people would want you to be seen as.
Totally.
Cool, ambitious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Popular. Yeah.
I think the terms that come to mind are people pleasing and just caring what other people think and what other people thought of me at the time. And I still, I still do think that as well. And I do still think I people please sometimes as well. But definitely it governed a lot of my behaviors and my decision making, I think, upon reflection, especially in the early parts of my life.
Okay. And then so it seems like you went from like super determined to like, okay, I don't really give a shit. Trying to be like a new version of yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Then what happened after that? Like, was there like a pivoting moment that allowed you to reflect? I mean, now you reflect and think back that you're insecure, but like, how did you feel then? Let's say at when you were in London, the new version of you?
Yeah. How did I feel? I mean, I had a fantastic time, and it was a fantastic time of my life. I think then there was probably another period of adjustment, which was coming to Singapore. I came to Singapore and came to Asia just purely out of the fact that while I was having a fantastic time in London, I just had itchy feet. It was like, you know what? Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit.
Party side of news, check out new countries.
Routine. Yeah, let's do something new. Party somewhere else, travel somewhere else. And I sort of transfer to Asia, and I had a number of countries in mind, and an opportunity came up in Singapore, and so I came to Singapore. I'll be honest, like it wasn't my vibe. It had been a long time since I arrived. I'd come to Singapore and visited Singapore. My dad used to work here some 13 years before I arrived in Singapore myself, and it was a very different place to what I remembered. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do 18 to 24 months. Travel around Southeast Asia, get it out of my system, and then I'll just move back home, and then I'll call it a day and figure something out in Sydney. And then shortly after arriving, I met my wife, my now wife. I met my now wife, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, I think she's put me on a very, very, very cool path, and everything that we've accomplished to this day, I couldn't have imagined without her pushing us. And what I mean by that is I remember one of the things that she said early on in the piece. Well, we were together for a while, and we were actually looking at, she's very sensible, right? And she's very mature. And we were looking at buying our first place together, right? Which would have been my first property ever, right? Which is a far cry from the 25 that I was aiming for. So it's my first property ever. And when we were looking at our joint finances, because we were getting serious and all that kind of stuff, she's like, you don't have any money. It's all spent in London. So I didn't have any money. But from that point on, from buying our first property and then kind of hunkering down and then looking at investments together, when we started to get really, really serious about our life together and things like that, it pushed me into a different space, right? I think it pushed me into a different space financially, but more importantly, it pushed me into a different space of like what was really important to me, right? All of a sudden, I found myself making decisions not for myself, but making decisions as a unit, right? And for us. And that, coupled with getting more mature with age over time, and having had a lot of fun and life experience, just pushed me into a more sensible space. And I really genuinely believe had I not met my wife, you know, all of the things and goals and accomplishments that we've achieved personally, not professionally, personally, would never have happened.
And also no one to do it for.
No one to do it for. Absolutely. Totally. Because if I didn't have anyone to do it for, what's to say I'd still not be partying and spending what I earn here, you know?
It's interesting because as I am on that quest on finding your purpose, I think a lot of the literature that I've read, a lot of the podcasts that I've listened to, I think purpose also comes from not just within, but also comes from the ability to help someone or the ability to do something greater than yourself, beyond yourself, right?
Yeah, totally.
So if not, it just it could be servitude in some shape or form. Helping people. It could be building towards a goal with your significant other. And that adds a lot of meaning. If not, it would just become very purposeless.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that for me, that happened in a professional sense as well, right? So when I was in Singapore, had a really good job in a tech company, and over time at that tech company, I went from an individual contributor, then I started managing small teams, then those teams got larger, and there was some points in my tenure where it was like, you know what, I'm content. You know, I've got a good role, I'm in a great company, I'm managing a large team, the team's a lot of fun. I don't think I need anything else. You know, the perks were good, the finances were good, they were helping us achieve my wife and my goals personally. I don't think I need anything else. And at that point, and I can't even really picture what specific trigger point led to that feeling of contentment rather. But all of a sudden, in a professional sense, it was like, you know what, it's not about me anymore, it's about my team and making my team successful. And enabling my team to achieve their career goals, their personal goals as well. And that was really, really rewarding, I felt as well.
Well, I can attest to that, having worked in your team.
Oh, come on.
It's okay, we compliment each other. How Justin has always been the kind of manager that always elevates people, is always pushing people in a good way, right? It's always not, you always say it's like not about me, it's not about me, it's always about you. So I think I've also learned that from you, really.
You know, I was thinking about this. I knew you were going to say this. You know, so fun fact, so where we were working together,
Us.
I actually believe, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you feel free to disagree,
Yes.
but I actually believe that where we worked
Yes.
in front of client meetings and things like that
Yes.
rewarded whoever said the most things,
Yeah.
right? And what I try to do is give you and our colleagues platform to present their own work, whereas in other meetings, other people or other of our peers would be presenting.
Most senior person would say the most.
Correct. And I may have been the most senior person on the team, but I actually never presented because I wanted you guys to present your work and show up as successful.
Which I found very annoying because I had high anxiety.
So I apologize. I thought I was doing a good thing.
I forgive you.
But yeah, so there's a kind of so I was actually thinking about that the other day.
Yeah. No, I think that is something that I've also carried forward after I left the organization that we were at, making sure that more junior members of our team have the opportunity to shine, right? And you always say it's like not about me, it's always about others, right? And I think it makes it a lot more meaningful, right?
I actually often think that I'm giving our colleagues a platform to present work in front of senior leaders, senior clients, and things like that. So much so that it's actually detrimental to me.
Really?
I do, because of that perception that the most senior person has to present and
I always just thought you wanted. Well, in my view, I was like, Justin is so confident. No, really, I just thought it's like an inner confidence, right? Where you because like you trust what the team has to share, and you obviously you work with the team, you manage the team, you're so confident of what the team has to share that you're okay for them to take and steal the spotlight.
No, so kind of you. But I did have confidence in you. I didn't have confidence in myself. But, but in all seriousness, there is something in that and it's a nice contrast to where I was, right? So insecurity versus confidence now. It's like, I don't really care how people perceive me, or I care a lot less about how people perceive me being the silent person in the client meeting, because I have a lot of confidence in my team and in the output and the preparation that they've given to give you the recommendations and the insights and the answers that you're actually looking for, that I don't need to say anything. And that, that's a really, actually, upon reflection right now, that's a really good contrast to kind of where I started out, right? So,
and I think on the topic, going back to purpose as well, I think it makes it, when you can actually elevate people, I think it makes a lot of things that you do even at work more purposeful.
Oh, totally.
Because you can have like a big purpose, right? If your big purpose is to be the provider for my family so that they can live a good life. But then, in the day-to-day, my purpose is to elevate my team so that they can also live a good life.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you what, for me personally, what proof of success has been is that my work colleagues, including yourself, we're friends.
Yeah.
We're friends. We're not former bosses and all that kind of stuff. We're friends. And I've stayed in touch and have been friends and call people my friends that have previously reported to me, because we have this mutual respect for each other and we've had this mutual shared experience, which was wonderful. And that's success for me. It's not all of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. To actually accredit that for my success is to the relationships that I have with people and how I make people feel versus what KPIs I've achieved in XYZ organizations.
Yeah, or what titles I've achieved and things like that.
Because when you look back, it doesn't matter. It's about the relationship and bonds that you've built.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what life's about.
Yeah, it's thinking back to when my friend has passed away, and I just remember so many people showing up for her and how she has touched so many lives. No one's going to talk about how much money you've made, but like how you have touched people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, Marianne, you would never have invited me here. We would not talking right now if I was a horrible person. Or
Oh yeah, there are bosses that I would definitely not invite.
that's for the
Chapter 2.
yeah, shout the late night version, the uncensored. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Oh no, thank you for sharing that.
No, thank
That-
you.
Maybe we dive a little bit into your 40s then.
Yeah.
So
I'm not there yet.
you are. We can tell. Just kidding.
Before we started recording, you said I looked really nice and young and no wrinkles and stuff. So okay, lie.
So then maybe we talk a little bit about your career. So
Yeah.
so it seems like your purpose in your 20s was about proving yourself, right? And in your 30s, when you moved to Singapore, when you work at the big tech giant, it was about doing and elevating people. And then later on, when we met in our career, you were also, I think you also held very closely to that principle, but you also made it really big, right? You became a partner in the organization. You were very successful. You hit a career milestone. So how do you think that changed you as well? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Hitting all these career milestones.
Yeah. So when I hit that milestone was this mythical thing that I thought would never happen in my life. So if I rewind back to my final year of university, going to careers fairs and career evenings and things like that, it was in my final year of university that started to pique my interest or intrigue in this world of consulting. And so in my final year, I started to send my applications in for a graduate program in these consulting firms. And I remember getting instantaneous automated snail mail rejection letters. Yes, back then it was still snail mail in the post. So basically the situation was if you got a phone call,
Yeah.
so you apply online, if you get a phone call, then you're getting an interview. If you get something in the mail from the company, automated rejection letter.
Okay.
And I got an automated rejection letter from the company that we worked at.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I distinctly remember it.
Okay.
And so the thought of making partner in that same firm many, many, many years later, it was a fantastic achievement reflecting back on that automated snail mail many, many years earlier.
Yeah.
And so, so I was really, really proud about that. I remember when another partner, a more senior partner, broke the news to me, I was absolutely elated. My fists were in the air. My wife gave me a massive hug and things like that. I rewarded myself with a material possession.
I remember you bought
We don't need to name brand names unless that brand wants to endorse me or anything.
Continue.
Yes, on the permission of my wife, because my wife said something, some word that really hits home for me. It's like, look, Justin, you deserve it. The word deserve really kind of struck a chord with me, and so did it. So, but that said, all of that elation lasted probably about 3 to 5 days. And then thereafter, that high defaulted back to work, back to BAU. And so it was a very, very short-lived temporary high and celebration. And that was it. You just kind of went back. Yeah.
So looking back now, do you feel that despite, it was obviously a goal that you had from being rejected when you were young to then making partner, right?
Yeah.
The highest position possible. But did it change your perspective? Like, it's so fleeting.
Well, the fact that it was so fleeting, like that high was so temporary and so short-lived, it was like, was that all worth it?
Yeah.
Was there something else to follow? Like that was really short-lived. So
most people would chase another high.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting that you say that, right? Yeah, people do. I didn't, right? So when it did come to a point in time where I thought, you know what, I think I've had enough of this and I want to try something new. What I did consciously say to a lot of people, and I think I might have said it to you, I've said it to some of our colleagues, that what I'm looking for next, and it was in my vision actually, we could talk about visions later, but what I'm looking for next is not a fancy title or a fancy company. I'm looking for mental and intellectual stimulation. And that could run the gamut of any title, any company, any industry. And so when I was looking at my next opportunity past or post that consulting firm, that's what I tried to hold on to when I was assessing different opportunities. Would it be intellectually stimulating? Would it be mentally stimulating? Also would allow me to still pay it forward and coach people and things like that. But it wasn't about the company, about the title.
What about the money? Or was there like a baseline? Okay.
There has to be a practical baseline, right? And as you rightly and fairly said, I'm in my 40s. And we have certain personal goals and certain family goals that do require a pragmatic approach as well, right? So I couldn't say money didn't matter. Money definitely did matter. But yeah, what I was really looking for was that intellectual stimulation.
Okay, so therefore, would you say that because of what you have learned, right? You made partner, and then you realized that moment was very fleeting, and that the question of like, was it worth it? So what you say that, okay, as long in my next role, as long as it hit like the fundamentals, which is like how much you need to survive and provide for your family.
Yeah.
So let's say even if you got a more junior role that was intellectually stimulating, you would still accepted it.
If the fundamentals were hit, right? And what I will also say as well is that I've had a blessed career, right? I have certain things in my CV and my experience that gives me a really good platform to make sure those foundations are hit. But when those foundations are hit, then you can really stay true to what was most important to me at the time professionally, which is intellectual stimulation and mental stimulation, and staying true to that.
Okay.
And I can honestly, hand on heart, say that in my job search, yes, I was offered a position that came with a C-level title and things like that, but I turned it down. I turned it down in favor of something else that I thought was more interesting and more exciting to me. So I can, hand on heart, say I did stay true to that, despite this elusive C in the title. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, reflecting on my career as well, I think, that I left TikTok to pursue a chief of staff role at the startup that I joined.
We spoke about that.
Yeah.
I remember the lunch.
Yeah, so funny enough, I actually reached out to you to discuss whether or not I should take that role. Yeah. But actually looking back right now, I think I was just so caught up upon like titles. I was just so caught up on like the external approval that I needed, right? And then, when the economy was really good, I was like just came out from consulting. I was, I was already managing teams there already. Yep. I felt like I should only go up and up and up.
Yep.
But I didn't really ask other questions, whether or not it would make me happy, whether or not the role was clear, whether or not I can actually create impact. So looking back now, I feel that if I'd asked those questions, I could have still taken the job, but I think it would have made me a bit more grounded in my decision versus, it was fancy at a point of time. It's just the allure that I thought I needed in order to make me look good.
I remember that lunch, right? Yeah. And now that you're talking about it, I distinctly remember that lunch. When I have conversations about this topic, should I take this job or should I stay, and things like that with you and with others, I try and stay objective as possible and kind of ask the right questions and things like that. But I do remember during that conversation, to your point, your responses to the questions were all about, post-rationalizing the new opportunity and, all of the things that the new opportunity will bring for you, versus being equally objective as well. And I get it, right? It's very hard to be equally objective when when this new opportunity with a title and money and prestige is dangled in front of you. But I remember it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say I learned my lesson. I could have still taken the job, but I think I now would have asked better questions. I think more self-reflection was definitely needed. Maybe I was younger then. It was like 2 years ago. I was more, maybe slightly immature. And now reflecting, I think in my next role, definitely ask harder questions. What makes me feel purposeful? How can I create impact? And things that I really value. Yeah.
You talk about maturity, immaturity, but you also said up front as well that your values have changed in the last 6 months, right? That's how quickly values and purpose can change, right?
That's true.
So So yeah, it's don't be so hard on yourself, and it's also it's a learning experience, right?
A learning experience.
And look where you are now.
Yeah,
Look at this beautiful set.
I'm grateful I'm able to kickstart a project that I would have never started if I didn't get laid off.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so
And I'm a fan.
thank you. Thank you.
Watch it, everybody. Listen to it. No.
Thank you, Justin.
No, what I was saying also before we started as well is I genuinely do believe that there are some unspoken truths that come out of your episodes here in Asia that do not get spoken enough. And so I appreciate that about this and about you.
Thank you. I think it's an ongoing journey, and I think I'll iterate and I'll learn along the way. But I think, now I don't report to anyone but myself. I'm old, so I can just be as candid as I want.
Yeah.
I think that is honestly quite liberating. Also got me thinking about entrepreneurship, if I have to be really honest. But I think that will be for another episode.
Another episode? What is it about entrepreneurship, though? Okay, maybe it's another episode, but just quickly, what is it about entrepreneurship?
Okay, entrepreneurship for me has always been within my close proximity because of my husband and my family who are entrepreneurs. They are both family, serial entrepreneurs.
Yep.
But I think I have definitely fancied the allure of making a lot of money, being able to, call yourself a founder, all of that. But I think the ability to create something like what I've created here, if I have to really go down on the why, I think it's something that I'm starting to get drawn to. I mean, obviously there's the external stuff, but it's also on the flip side itself, what I've realized about myself is that I'm also very scared of uncertainty.
Okay.
And I don't know if this will evolve, and I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to be also allow myself to maybe explore more opportunities. But what I've realized about myself is that I'm very afraid of uncertainty. And as an entrepreneur, uncertainty is every day.
Yeah.
It's what you face every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, the context behind the question as well is there are certain values or reasons why entrepreneurship is an interesting angle for you, right? And what you're saying are things like the ability to create something.
Yeah.
Money and founder titles and things like that. And whatever those hierarchy of values are, they could be satisfied by things other than entrepreneurship as well, especially given that there are the risks that you're scared of, right? Like the fear of uncertainty and things like that, right? And so, let's say hypothetically that building something, the opportunity to build something was the most important value in your hierarchy of values today. Yeah, could you go into a product role in a certain company? Could you go into industrial design, or could you study that, or could you do other ventures beyond this to satisfy that thirst, right? So the point is there could be other avenues as well.
It's not so much like I that's why I'm giving myself time now to figure out what the next step is without jumping into things very quickly, which is what I've done in the past. To get to that answer that I'm very comfortable within. Because what I've realized about myself is, I'm very afraid of uncertainty, and stability is something that I really crave. But at the same time, I like creating things. Of course, owning a business sounds great on paper, but does it, like you said, in that hierarchy of values? So I'm still in that process of figuring it out, work in progress. But I think I'm also open to possibilities. And think what I've learned here, there is no like right or wrong.
Totally.
And there could be, you could put multiple things together and create something. There isn't like a straight answer to anything.
And I'm sure forums like this are great ways to talk it through and talk it out, right?
Thanks for asking. That's food for thought.
No worries. I'm trying to start my own podcast, Chit Chat with Uncle Justin.
Okay. Don't copy me. Copyright.
It's Uncle Justin. Aunty Mary is different.
Okay. Well, on that note, Justin, I'm just curious then. So, what does success look like for you today?
Yeah. So, today, it's all about my family. So I've gone from the self and professional and career and having fun to others as far as teammates and people that are in my team and things like that. And really, it's all about my family. So we've got some really big family goals coming up this year. This year and next year is a big year of change for us. And my biggest purpose is that my family are well and truly settled in the place that we're moving to, I guess I can say, is Australia. And there's a lot of financial burdens in order to kind of make those goals come true. And so therefore, beneath family, the financial side and money is absolutely still important and right up there in the hierarchy of values. But yeah, that's the most important thing to me right now. Success in the next not even 12 months is that they are settled and are living a really happy life and starting the next chapter in Australia.
They are very lucky.
Yeah, so it, you know, as you know, it's a really exciting next chapter for us as a family, but I'm also personally very, very fearful as well. Right, because
a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, there is a lot of uncertainty. I won't be able to necessarily move there permanently with them. You know, I'll do some commuting for a while. That separation and that commuting scares me. I'm going to miss my family so much when I am still alone here. But at the same time, I'm excited we're doing this, right? This has been in our vision for the last 5 years, I'd say. And when my wife, middle of last year, finally said, yes, let's do it, and let's do it by this date, I'm so excited that we've put the wheels in motion to actually realize our visions. So I'm excited.
Oh, I love it. I'm excited for your next chapter.
Yeah, thank you.
And on the topic of visions, can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah.
How do you even put all this to motion?
Yeah. Before we go into that, are you still doing them? Are you still doing your December visions? Or
yeah, we do. Jeff and I had offsites.
Oh,
we're very serious.
Okay, wow. More serious than me. Okay. So what we're talking about here is, I would say probably about 9 years ago now, I'd say, I started writing December 20X visions. So let's imagine last December was December 2024. I imagine myself in December 2025, looking back on the year just gone, and I write in the past tense all of the things that I would have achieved, accomplished, traveled to, etc., both professionally and personally. And I've been doing that every single year for the last 9 years. And it just gives me a professional and personal compass and things to focus on for the year. And so I stay true to that. And naturally, this move to Australia is in my December 2025 vision and making sure that that's all settled, along with a whole host of other things. But that guides me every single year. And I look forward to taking stock later this year for December 2026 as well and what that looks like. So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. And just fun fact, Justin used to make us write our visions every end of the year when we were working together.
Yes. And we'd all share it with each other as well. And we all regrouped during the course of the year as well, right? To share how we were tracking and where we were falling behind or where our visions were deviating into other visions and things like that as well, right?
Yeah. I know. I love that because I think that's the first time in my career where I think someone actually cares. And also, I mean, I think it's just wicked. I think it's just it's good to know that you care about what my visions are professional. I remember writing our professional and also personal visions. Mm-hmm. And I really like how you make us write it in past tense and thinking that it's almost like manifestation.
It is.
Because you write it in the sense that you have done it already.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a form of manifestation, I guess. It's more empowering, I find, as well. So when you're reading it in the past tense, it's more empowering, but you also feel obligated to achieve them as well.
Exactly.
Right? Because you're claiming to have done them already, right?
Yeah. So instead of saying that I will be doing this, and I have achieved XYZ.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a regular New Year's resolution that everyone makes at the 1st of January, right? I will eat healthy, I will work out, but it lasts 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think this is interesting that write it in past tense. So would you say that you use your vision board as a compass, a blueprint?
Yeah, totally. So like I refer to it all the time. It's always in the back of my mind. It's less of a vision board. So some people, when they do construct their December 2020 X vision, it's a series of pictures and things like that. Mine is prose, words. That's the way I process information, I guess. And yeah, I refer to it all the time. I also evolve it through the years sometimes as well. So for example, in my December 2025 vision was supposed to be sending our kids to Disneyland.
Oh,
Yeah, but that's not happening anymore.
okay.
Because Rachel and I have spoken about that, and we don't like the idea of having our kids in a 3-hour rides queue. So we pivoted that.
First puzzle.
Yeah, it's a stress. And so we pivoted that to Scotland, for example. So things can change as well, but it does give you just a direction of where you're going this year. So.
I love it. Yeah. Just to add, Jeff and I also do that.
Yeah, good. You have your own offsite, as you said.
But we do an offsite and then we think back, reflect. But I like that you use like a mid checkpoint. I don't think we do that. So
yeah, I mean, it's not even mid. It's just like periodically I reflect. It's like, oh, that wasn't in the plan, or that is on the plan. It's on track, or I haven't thought about this part of my plan, my vision rather. Yeah. But tell me about the offsite. Like, what does an offsite of 2 people entail?
It's a fancy term to say that we're doing our journaling, our planning, but usually it happens during a holiday.
Okay, all right, that's the perfect place for it.
Happens during a holiday. Yeah. We sit, we reflect. We're in very relaxed mode. We think of our travel plans, our personal goals, our professional goals, and then also we see where we can redeem flights for.
That's great. That's great. And what do you find when you do them and share them? Do you find things aligning? Do you find surprising things that you didn't know about your other half?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how each year, how we change as individuals, how we have evolved. So that is very interesting to say. But also, I think when doing this vision planning, I think it makes us closer. And I really like that. It makes us closer. We spend time to discuss, plan, and you just kind of get into each other's heads to understand like their why, right? And then use it as a foundation to kind of understand why they do the certain things, especially like make big decisions. Yeah. How about for you?
I don't know. I actually keep it to myself a little bit more. Actually, really? I actually don't talk about it too much at home. I don't know why. I think maybe it's more, I don't know, I'm just about my kids and stuff like that at home and in service of them and doing whatever they want rather than like thinking about visions and being a little more spontaneous with the kids and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of tend to kind of keep it to myself. Maybe it's so. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why I don't.
You guys don't
be more vocal about it.
Yeah, you can try.
I should try.
Yeah,
I should try. Yeah. If I did do that, I don't think that there would be anything too surprising in there because every single day I'm talking about things that I've done, things that I want to do, new opportunities that come up, both professional and personal and all that kind of stuff. So,
but it makes a difference when you articulate it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, especially like to your significant other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I can try.
I will try. Try la.
Try. Awesome. Well, I think last couple of questions, but
sure.
We spoke about like the evolution and how right now you're totally a family man. Are there moments where you feel like you miss your past self? Because I struggle that sometimes. Like personally, there are days here when I'm not working now on my sabbatical, and some days I love it. I wake up and I'm like, this is like awesome. Like I don't think there'll be ever a moment in my career where I get to take a long break and I feel so grateful for it. But then there are days where I'm so anxious. I wake up and like, oh my God, I'm not working. My friends are already ahead of me. Oh my God. And that negative self-talk comes back and it's like a loop.
So how do you get out of it?
I go for a walk.
Yep.
Or in a couple of days' time, like the positive energy will come back. So I know it will be over. But I still can't. If I have to be really honest, I still flip-flop between two sides.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious for you, because my purpose now is to be present.
Sure.
Right? And I sometimes cannot. And if your purpose is to be that family man, do you miss your old ambitious self?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, we're only human, right? So yeah, you should kind of give yourself that permission to feel and think what you think, feel what you feel. And then thereafter is how do you choose to respond thereafter, right? So yes. So for me, I'm also a human, and I do feel these things as well, right? And so when I think career and things like that are a little bit further down my hierarchy of values right now. But they do still mean something, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when I do see professionally that, oh, someone's got this awesome job, that I would love that job, I wish I could do that job. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Why did they get it and I didn't get it? Or why didn't anyone think of me? All of those kind of things, they still manifest. They still happen with me.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because yeah, they're still intellectually stimulating and things like that. But when I also think about the hierarchy of values as well, yes, I am about my family and them finding success and home and settling down in a new country is the most important thing to me. But it's not a binary thing. It doesn't mean I don't care about anything else, right? I still definitely do want to give my all at work. I still do want to do my best at work. I still want to make an impact. I still want to be in a place where I am intellectually and mentally stimulated and all those kind of things. But I am trying to be a lot more conscious about setting those boundaries, right? And detaching when things don't work out, or when I'm not having a good day at work, or all of those kind of things, right? And in favor of what's most important and why I'm doing that, right? I'm doing this to satisfy my higher order value and purpose, right?
Okay, so you go back to your why.
I still go back to my why, but yeah, I'm exactly like you, right? I think about, why, that job sounds cool.
Yeah.
Even though it might contradict and contrast with my higher order vision and purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Like you said, we're only human.
Yeah. And then ultimately it's what do you and what do I choose to do with that feeling, right? And I try and therefore walk myself back to, wait, which race am I racing, and which is my own? And I walk myself back to, hang on a second, I've had my own blessings as well to get to where I am, and it's not just hard work, it's a lot of luck and timing as well. And so I have to be grateful for that as well. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. And you practice at that moment of negative self-talk, you think back and reflect, and I guess you express gratitude.
Yeah. Another thing that you probably remember from me as well is the whole notion about being a player and not a victim.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I totally continue to try my best to live by that as well, right? So being the victim is that, why didn't so-and-so think of me for that job? Or why does the universe conspire against me to not get that job that I would want, and all of those kind of things? Why did that person get promoted and I didn't get promoted? All of those kinds of things, right? Woe is me versus the player,
What can I do to influence that decision?
I didn't make enough of an impact on project X in order to get me recognized. I didn't do that because my purpose is something else, etc., right? And that's really just being in control.
I like that. I agree. Awesome. Thanks, Justin. I think that it's definitely a good reflection thought. As I'm on my sabbatical, there are good days and bad days. Yep. Sometimes I tell myself, LinkedIn is so toxic. And I open up like, good for you. But I think instead of thinking that way, some days I just tell myself, and I'm like my positive self, I'm like, it's like I'm so grateful for my time to explore my project, to connect with people, to really find myself in this journey. Because if I wouldn't have, I would have been back on the rat race and maybe just have been lost. Yeah. So I think it's going back to that why and why I'm doing this is a good reminder. So thank you for echoing that.
And to the extent that it even matters to you, there's probably people listening to your podcasts and following you and thinking, oh my gosh, Mary has got this freedom or achieved this freedom to pursue exactly what she wants while I'm stuck here.
Grass is always greener.
Grass is always green. And to the extent that that external validation matters, but
I'm very grateful for
but yeah,
this.
there's always grass is always greener, and people are always looking up to you as a role model that you don't even have. So
Yeah, but I like you said, if I go back to my why I want to do this is it's very clear. It's just that on some days, the negative self-talk would just like creep up in your head, and then it's just a matter of like going back to the bigger reason of why you're doing this and just shaking it off and expressing gratitude.
yep, go for a walk, get some
for a walk.
vitamin D.
Yes. Awesome. Last question.
Sure.
So, what would you tell your 20-year-old self then, if you could now look back?
Be confident as to who you are. Yeah, definitely be comfortable in your own skin. Be confident in who you are, and just rely on your own internal validation of who you really are as a person, and don't worry about what other people think. Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time
worrying about what people think.
Yeah, pivoting and compensating and overcompensating through different personas and things like that, just to feel like, I was either successful or cool or all of those kind of things. Yeah.
No, this is good advice. And to your 20-year-old self, I would probably tell my 20-year-old self the same thing as well. Because just be confident, be yourself. Because I feel like, end of the day, nobody really cares as well. Only what we think, what other people think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. So, I definitely think that. And the other thing I'll say as well is everything will be okay.
That's true. Everything will be okay. Awesome. So thank you so much, Justin, for being so honest, open, and vulnerable. And thank you so much for listening to another episode of Chit Chat with Aunty Mary. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.